Hi there and welcome back to Japan, where we're going to be checking out a little bit more of Ningen ISU, and I'm going to be giving you my review. So if you want to see the reaction that I just recorded, pause this video, click the link in the description below. That unfortunately that's the way we have to do it now. My phone is still ringing. And then come back here for the review. And you'll know what I mean about the phone in a minute if you watch the reaction. Apologies, guys. I should really have muted it. However, it went a little bit crazy while I was doing that. So anyway, I'm about to give you the review. Are you ready? Are you ready for the review? If you haven't seen the reaction, you watch it now. Otherwise, here comes the review. Okay, you've been warned. So, spoilers ahead. This was an interesting one in that it was what I expected, considering it was an older, less-known Ningen ISU song. A lot of the things that I expected were there. It did highlight some interesting points about the band, though. And the video was really fun too. Now, the first thing that really comes to mind, like I say, this fit into one of two categories. Now, I actually find they've done the opposite of what most bands do, which is most bands start off like full of rage and then mellow. These guys have managed to pick up more of that rage and intensity. I don't know if that was the change in drummer was part of that. Might well have been. Maybe their new drummer sort of encourages a little bit more energetic craziness. I don't know, he might be younger or something like that. That's a bit of a bad stereotype, isn't it? Ageism, the final frontier of being a bigoted that's loud. Yes, so apologies for that comment. However, yeah, so maybe he is, like I say, giving them a little bit more energy for whatever reason. Or maybe they've just sort of decided, maybe they got a little bit better at their craft and decided they want to do a little bit more craziness. However, with this song, it's not that it doesn't work, but I think you have to approach this from a very specific angle. Because when I listen to their music, like I say, the songs that I most like about them, from them, should I say, are the ones where you get a real sort of crazy energy, where, either it's barreling along really fast and it's kind of like a holding on bare knuckle ride, or it could be one of the ones where it just changes in ways that you don't expect, but it's really cool and it takes you on a strange journey. And with some songs, it can be both at the same time. This one was more of those ones where it just sort of slowly chugs along and goes along. And it has this strange feeling that at the beginning, it sounds really impactful. I mean, it comes in with very similar intro to Sabotage by the Beastie Boys. Whereas with that, when the intro's over, you get a full power scream and everything just comes full noise, which may be too much. With these guys, it goes into the riff, which gives you a step up in the impact. Okay, so now things are moving along. And what you don't realise at that point, now you've got the guitar riff and things are moving on, is that that's the way it's going to be for the next 5+ minutes. It's going to have changes, but it's not going to increase or decrease in intensity to any particular degree. And that's where we have, for people like me, I'm going to give the counter argument in a minute as well, and talk a bit more about the song and specifics. But this is where, for me, we have that issue that I've mentioned with some of the older Ningen ISU songs, where it settles in very early after usually an intro. It settles into what the level is going to be, what the tempo is going to be, and sticks very much to that. Now, the riff was really good, but the riff was very simple. And I often use the example of Smells Like Teen Spirit by Nirvana, a riff that everyone knows, pretty much everyone loves, but actually is nothing more than four power chords played in quick succession, and has a quality that, although it's impactful in the way it works, if you imagine someone sitting down and basing a song around just playing that riff for 5+ minutes, you wouldn't have such a romanticized view of that riff anymore. And so when I look at this, I'm kind of thinking something similar. I'm like, that really works as a simple, impactful riff. But when it turns from an impactful riff into basically the underpinning of most of the song, then it starts to become something where it doesn't stand out so much anymore. It just becomes just the thing, the loop, if you want to use the sort of the pop hip hop reference, or even EDM, sort of most heavy production styles of music, you call it a loop, and that's kind of what it becomes. Now, like I said, I don't want to be full of the criticism, because in actuality, this song's good. It's engaging. For what it is, considering that's obviously not a mistake, considering it's obviously not a lack of talent, considering it's basically a stylistic choice, that means that me as the subjective viewer is probably more at fault for just not really getting it so much. This is going to sound like I'm insulting it, but in actuality, I do think that this counts as what you guys had maybe mentioned a few videos ago. This is one of the ones that is kind of the stoner rock one. So maybe it's my fault for not having a puff before I listen to it. However, that's illegal here. So I'm not going to prison over a review. Not doing it. So, yeah, I lose my visa over doing one review. Even worse than when I reviewed the band that shall not be named. Yeah, that went wrong. So, let's get back onto our topic. This is a song that, like I say, therefore, it works in its own context. Just for me, I find these songs hard to really engage with because, like I say, the way I feel at the beginning and the way I feel at the end is so totally different. At the beginning, I feel 100% engaged. Like, okay, this is a metal song or a rock song, which may be the wrong attitude to take to expect something really impactful, but it comes in with that attitude. And then by the end, I kind of feel sort of numbed to the riff just being this loop that goes round, and it almost becomes like a gentle backing sound. And you're thinking, how do we get between those two things? And is it necessarily good that we've transferred between those two things? It seems like a very weird direction to be going in. So like I say, you can view this in a couple of ways, and there's a lot of people who are really into this kind of thing, and so my opinion is pretty much useless, therefore, if you're already into this style of music. I would, however, say that what I'm comparing this to is this against the Ningen Issu songs that I really love. This song is okay. It's good, actually. If it came on in the background and I wasn't really having to focus on it, I would be 100% fine for this to be in many, many contexts. It's just kind of a nice, engaging sound. Like I said, it's a good riff. It's got a good tempo. It's got a good impact. In like I say, a way that softens over its runtime. However, if someone said, sit down, put songs to listen to by Ningen Issu, I probably wouldn't select this and maybe a couple of the other older ones, just because I'd be like, well, I'm gonna stop paying attention to it about 2/3 of the way through. Yeah, it had a bridge where things changed slightly, but not really enough to. It wasn't like one of the ones, like I say, where everything goes really crazy and you can kind of see their creativity on display. It was one where it just kind of went in an interesting direction, but like I say, you could tell that they were basically trying to maintain the tempo and the feel of the song throughout. So yeah, like I say, just to repeat myself again, it's a good song. I am probably the wrong subjective listener to take this in. However, you might well agree with me in saying that this is a band who I think have much better songs than this. This just kind of felt like a really good riff and a good melody as well that were never quite part of anything big enough to qualify as a memorable 5.5+ minute song. That's kind of my fair way of looking at it. But like I say, I still like these guys, still like listening to their music, and I certainly didn't leave that feeling like bored, just kind of a little bit disengaged, not as engaged as I would be with some of their more amazing modern songs. So it's very rare when you can say that, isn't it? Especially about a metal band where you can be like, well, their formative albums were not as creative as their modern stuff. How many metal bands can you say that about? Let's be honest. Even some hard rock bands, there's very few you can say that about. There's like a Foo Fighters quality to that, isn't there? So yeah, anyway, there you go. There's my opinions on that one. As always, I'm really looking forward to seeing your opinions because I think I'm the wrong subjective viewer for this, whereas I might be the right subjective viewer for the more of their recent stuff. Maybe you're an Ningen Issu fan or not. Maybe you're someone who liked their music before and doesn't so much now, or the other way around. Maybe you weren't such a fan of them before and you've got more into them. Either way, I'm really looking forward and really interested in hearing your opinions and seeing what you guys think. But as always, remember the description below also contains the social medias where you can get more involved in talking different Japanese music with us, as well as you can like, subscribe, all of that stuff. And we also have our Patreon links in the description below, so a big thank you to our Patreon supporters who are the reason why this channel is actually still working. We're a non-profit and you guys are the ones who make it so we can afford to replace the things when they break. All the equipment's old, but we keep it alive. We keep going. So anyway, a big thank you to them, and thank you to you, whether you be one of them or not, for making it through to the end of the video. Hopefully I'll see you soon on my next video. But for now, from Japan, ciao ciao.